World War II ended in 1945, right? Well, for two global powers, it never officially did. Why? Because of a forgotten promise from the war's final days that has left Russia and Japan in a 70-year staring contest over a string of remote volcanic islands. This single dispute is the only thing preventing a formal peace treaty. And as Russia beefs up its military presence on the islands and slams the door on diplomatic talks, this old, frozen conflict is starting to get hot. So, what are the Kuril Islands, and why do they matter so much? Stretching north from Japan to Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula, this volcanic chain is way more than just a bunch of windswept rocks. For Russia, these islands are a geopolitical jackpot. They act as a gateway to the Sea of Okhotsk, essentially turning it into a private fortress for its nuclear-armed Pacific Fleet. More importantly, the straits between the islands give Russia's navy vital, ice-free access to the Pacific Ocean year-round, a strategic prize Moscow has no intention of giving up. While Russia has other ports like Vladivostok, the Kurils offer a more protected and direct route. Beyond the military angle, the islands are sitting in the middle of some of the world's richest fishing grounds and are thought to have major oil and gas reserves. For Japan, which calls the four southernmost islands its northern territories, this is all about national sovereignty and a historical wound that's been open since the war ended. This clash between strategic necessity and national pride is the heart of the whole mess. The modern conflict is a legal nightmare, but it didn't start that way. The first official border, set by the Treaty of Shimoda in 1855, was simple. The four southern islands went to Japan and the rest to Russia. 20 years later, in 1875, the Treaty of St. Petersburg saw Japan take control of the entire Kuril chain in exchange for dropping its claims on the nearby island of Sakhalin. For the next 70 years, the islands were Japanese, no questions asked. World War II changed everything. At the secret Yalta Conference in 1945, the Allies dangled the Kuril Islands as a prize for the Soviet Union to enter the war against Japan. Just days before Japan surrendered, the Soviets launched a full-scale invasion, grabbing the whole chain and kicking out the 17,000 Japanese residents who called it home. Here's the problem. Japan wasn't at the table for the Yalta Agreement, and crucially, the agreement never spelled out which islands were technically the Kurils. Japan has argued ever since that the four southern islands were never historically part of the Kuril chain and were therefore seized illegally. That's the broken promise and legal grey area that has fueled an 80-year stalemate and stopped a peace treaty in its tracks. For decades, the dispute was just a tense reality of the Cold War. But in the 21st century, things are getting worse. Moscow's stance, especially after its 2022 invasion of Ukraine, has hardened significantly. Russia has officially walked away from peace treaty talks, cancelled visa-free travel for former Japanese residents, and in 2025, started targeting Japanese organizations connected to the islands, like the Northern Territories Issue Association, accusing them of chipping away at Russian sovereignty. At the same time, Russia has been turning the islands into military strongholds, deploying advanced coastal missile systems and modernizing its air bases. From Moscow's point of view, Japan's close military alliance with the US makes handing back the islands an unacceptable security threat. Japan is, understandably, sounding the alarm. Its 2025 defense report called out this military buildup, stating once again that the islands are illegally occupied. Tensions spiked in April 2025 when Tokyo formally protested Russia's decision to restrict sea navigation around the islands, a move seen as a clear provocation. With Russia cozying up to China, there's speculation that President Putin might make a high-profile visit to the territories in late 2025 to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the Soviet victory, though nothing has been confirmed. If you're fascinated by these forgotten conflicts that are still shaping our world, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the planet's hidden fault lines. So, where does this leave us? A full-on war is unlikely, but a peaceful resolution feels more distant than ever. The Kuril Islands dispute isn't just about land anymore. It's a messy collision of military strategy, national pride, and the shifting dynamics of global power. For Russia, the islands are a forward base and a proud symbol of its victory in World War II. For Japan, They're a constant, painful reminder of an unresolved injustice. Caught in this deadlock, the final chapter of World War II for these two nations is still waiting to be written, frozen in the cold waters of the North Pacific.